Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Some Like That, but Not Quite. I am one half of your illustrious host. This is Forrest, aka Jungle915, both on Twitter and Insta, and I have here with me today.
What up, fam? It's your girl Key, also on Twitter at Keyal23 and Instagram. It's good to be back for
Yeah,
another episode.
I know. It's a bit of an adjustment going every other week than every week, but it's
Yeah,
also one that allows for a little bit of
absolutely.
because
Decompress a little bit
because
of
universe, this man.
nigga.
She doing what the fuck she do.
She really is because I mean we spoke about it a bit earlier pre-show. It was like there's like five planets in retrograde right now. There's a lot of squares happening as well. I think there's a yod. Like it's and if you don't know what a yod is, it's essentially an aspect that forms like an isosceles triangle. And so the bottom 2 points are the planets that are basically feeding energy to the top point. And they call the yod the finger of God. And so it's like pointing at this one planet, and that's what you need. That's your focal point. That's what you need to pay attention to. So we've got, I want to say it's Pluto and Neptune in a yod with the sun. And our sun is basically our heart. It's who we are internally. And so it's like you got Pluto, which is like transformation, and then you've
Mhm.
got Neptune, which is basically your spiritual antenna. It's like wherever Neptune is in your chart is how you kind of communicate and speak to God and you in the universe and all of that jazz. So you've got these two planets feeding right straight to your heart. Like it's been a lot.
To say
Past
the
couple
least.
of weeks. Yeah,
To say the
exactly.
least. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, so we just going all of the shit is gonna happen now. Like
Absolutely.
like like now.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
no, I thought we would no now. Okay.
And it's for everybody, right? Like I think I was telling you my spiritual coach was like, listen, don't even pay attention to what's going on in the world right now because we're not going to be able to tell, until about September 6th when Neptune steps out of the 22nd degree in Pisces. But we're all basically being tested to either to change our spiritual story and to sort of ascend. So like the planet right now is like on the precipice of ascension. Is we gonna make it? I don't know.
That
I
ties
don't
in with
know.
something that I was thinking about, so I will put a pin in that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, how was your week? How was your week? Because we haven't caught up yet.
It you know what? Challenges are challenges, but I mean I made it.
Yeah.
So, that's a celebration that we do because this really was a nigga we made it kind of a week. Ooh.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad
We
you made
made it.
it.
So, you know, my health is intact. I went to the doctor, did my blood work. So this working out that I've been doing for the last 3 months has been working. Like my
Mm.
A1C improved significantly. And I'm
Oh,
saying
nice.
to any of the audience, like if y'all young folks, whatever. But I'm also about to be 40 shit, so I'll be caring about A1Cs and cholesterol levels and shit like that. So
Yeah.
all
What is A1C?
it's the your blood level of blood sugar because I'm diabetic. So
Yes. Yeah.
so
That's right. Okay.
you're if as long as it's usually I believe 7 is the point where if it's consistently over 7 then you're officially diabetic. If you or usually between 6 and 7 that's when they'll tell people that they're pre-diabetic, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
watch the shit before you go all the way over. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
it's supposed to be under 7. So I
Right.
didn't quite make 7, but I dropped like a good couple of points. So my
Oh,
doctor was like,
good.
whatever you're doing,
Keep doing
keep
it.
doing that shit. So I've
Yeah.
been making sure to work out at least 4 days a week. I've been in there. I told you I'm doing the hit joints. So
Yeah.
like it's working. I can get that in. I'm not quite at the level of like killing the shit yet, but I get through it
Yeah. Yeah.
without being like ready to fall over. It's like the first time I did that shit, I like had to go throw up immediately after.
Yeah,
It was like my body was like, bitch,
you ain't did this in a while.
what the fuck?
What is you doing?
What is this? I mean, we do this or this, all of this shit. We're gonna work
Right.
all of this. So I'm getting through it now. So I'm looking forward to hopefully within the next 3 months being able to like not just get through it kind of cool, but like really, really fucking kill it. So
Oh, nice.
I'm feeling, so got through it health intact, you know, my job's intact. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, you get a few curveballs, but at least I'm in position to still be able to swing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm very happy to hear that.
How's everything rolling on your end?
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I've been really focusing on the self-care and the self-love and all of that jazz. So that's just been my shtick, really. I was like, you know what? I need a podcasting space. I got tired of being in a closet. So I made it happen. I was like, you know what? This is what we'll do. We'll rejig a few things and this will be my little area. So
I'm working on that.
voila.
Yeah, I'm working
Yeah,
on that.
listen, it's a process, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Until
I pulled
then,
out
we're
my
hanging
juicer.
out in my loft.
I love this background. I think it's awesome. I love it. I love it. I was like, oh, there's a little laptop over there and over there.
Yeah, I've come in from the void. 'Cause,
But yeah, what else has been happening? So yeah, I pulled out my juicer, so I've been juicing. I bought this juicer like 2.5 years ago though, so it's pretty funny. I was like, oh, I have a juicer. So I
yeah.
pulled that out. I've been juicing my ass off. I had a juice detox the other day, which was a lot of fun. But then like this massive pimple popped up. So I'm like, oh, maybe
Well,
I need.
sometimes the toxins leaving you.
Yeah, but this shit hurts. It's huge. It's like a little horn. All right, well that's our weeks.
All right. Okay. So about what you were talking about earlier, when you were saying essentially, this is kind of like the universe kind of feeding into us saying either we're going to kind of do what we need to do or not.
Yeah.
Uh, Recent UN report on climate change.
Yes, I saw that.
So we have definitely warmed, but we are at the point, and there are certain things that there's, shit is gonna have to be here, and we're gonna have to adapt.
Mm,
But it really is dire, like worldwide. We're at the point where, like, yo, for real, cut the fucking fossil fuels out. Let's
mm,
get
mm-hmm.
serious about renewables. Let's get serious about making like strong investments into climate conscious building, climate conscious living. Like it's time to go all in on those efforts, because if we let it get too far, the harm will be irreparable. There will be no coming back from it. So there's just a general like air in the world that, hey, everybody got to get their shit together, and we're seeing it there. We're going through it with COVID here, because these kids about to start back to school,
Oh yeah.
and it's heavy in the South, like where I'm at essentially. Um, I want to say 1 out of every 5 cases of COVID, new cases of COVID in America, are either from Florida or Texas. Like
Nice.
we're driving the whole fucking country.
Wow.
And while we are doing that, we have in both Texas and here, we have governors who have taken control from municipalities to be able to establish mask mandates. They have taken the authority away from schools to be able to establish mask mandates, understanding that kids 12 and under, or kids under 12, are not even approved for vaccine. So
Mm-hmm.
they are completely unvaccinated. As it stands in the states, something like 98% of COVID deaths right now are all unvaccinated. Like 95% of hospitalizations from COVID are unvaccinated.
Mm.
And while we have breakthrough cases with some people who are fully vaccinated that have had breakthrough cases, the majority of them are experiencing much milder symptoms of COVID, like basically essentially like a flu.
Because that's what the vaccine is for.
Yes, yes. Because I mean, I've seen people be like, see, the vaccine don't do nothing. These people still getting. I'm like, nigga, a seatbelt does not mean that you won't get in an accident.
Right.
A seatbelt doesn't even mean that when you get in an accident, you won't die.
Right.
It is a layer of protection that hopefully saves your life if it comes to it, given the circumstances. And that's
Mm-hmm.
essentially what the vaccine is. Think of it as a seatbelt. You know, you wear your seatbelt because if something happens, most likely it is going to save you. And in the case that it doesn't, God bless. But that's the vast majority of the time, it is what saves you. And
Yep.
that's what how we have to think of it. And it's misinformation. I'm really truly concerned about the misinformation, specifically being targeted at Black folks,
Mm-hmm.
mainly because I really want people to kind of just look around and see who is on your side advocating the position that you're advocating.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's a bunch of Republican governors, and your ass
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah.
Should
Yeah.
you are you normally on their side? I would hope that that would give people pause enough to take a look. And people bring up things like the Tuskegee experiment, which we've talked about.
Yeah.
There was a case, I want to say it was in Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
where there was a nurse who was anti-vax and she was injecting people with saline instead of the vaccine. That
Wow.
is closer to what happened in the Tuskegee experiment than people getting the vaccine. And it wasn't like, again, people, they weren't injecting people with syphilis. They already had syphilis.
Yeah.
And
They just weren't treating it.
they just weren't treating it. They were
Yeah.
told they were being treated, but they weren't treating it. That is what happened there. So please do not mix those two things up. They're not the same. But I really just want us. I'm specifically concerned about Black people because the way that it breaks down, we are twice as likely to die from,
Mm-hmm.
because of the health disparities that already exist within the American health system. We're less likely to get great health care. We're less, and then on top of it, we've got to keep in mind that the people who work at these hospitals, they have been in a war zone for over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Like on some trill shit, the last place that you want to be in is a fucking hospital right now because God love them, they're not giving the same level. They're not able to give the same level of care because they are fucking exhausted. We've
They
had
tied.
they tired, and then in a lot of cases they're understaffed. I was looking at like Dallas and Parkland. They were talking about how Parkland normally is like a huge maternity ward. Like they were like, for the first time in years, we've had to turn women away from coming here to have babies because we are understaffed. You know, due to people quitting for fatigue or going to be travel nurses and making, for more money or whatever. We're
Yeah.
not as staffed up as we normally would be. And then you come in and Delta COVID Theta is stomping the yard on these hoes.
Yeah. I did
And
not mean to laugh at that, but that was funny.
I'm just saying, no, for real, for real. And now they got like a Delta Plus, like it's a goddamn streaming service.
Really?
There's a variant of the variant.
A variant of the variant.
It's
Oh, yeah.
like
Well, I wonder
it's
if
trill
that's
out here,
due
man.
to if all the increase in the variants is that due to the vaccine coming out so quickly because it
No,
wasn't. No.
no, the variants are occurring because there's still. I mean, this is why I talk about vaccine hesitancy in America in the states being a
Mm-hmm.
matter of privilege, because
Mm,
you look at India. not a lot of people vaccinated. So that's where the Delta variant comes from. So you have a large population of unvaccinated folks. The more it's in a large population like that, it's able to mutate, it's able to change, it's able. So the best way to get the variants under control is to get the world vaccinated.
Yeah.
I mean, we look at the continent of Africa, 2% of people are vaccinated. So
that, I mean, that's a lot of countries though, but
yeah, I mean, just it's like in country after country, very low vaccination.
Yeah.
So
I got you.
we're just, and it's, you know, there it's about just access to the vaccine. Like, just can we get some? Because all of the rich countries like us bought the shit up, and then you have states like Alabama where they've been having to throw away vaccine because people aren't getting them. People aren't coming.
Wow.
So it's one of those things where, like, you look around and you're like, this is why don't nobody fuck with us. Like, we have resources to the point that everybody else needs, that we're just not getting or using, and we're throwing it away, when there are countries that would love to have access to this, but they don't have it because of, you know, wealth. So it's just it's a really really shitty situation. I'm hoping that people wake up to understand that, hey, you need to get it. Like, yes, there might be breakthrough cases, but you know what? The vast majority of the time, these vaccines are holding up. I understand the hesitancy at the beginning. Like, if we were back in January, I'm not gonna say shit to you about being hesitant, because, you know, something develops under the Trump administration, you gonna probably be looking at it like, nigga, for real. But at this point, in addition to the clinical trials that already occurred before the vaccine released wide, it's been released wide since January. It is now August. We have months of data, and the most telling numbers is when you look at who is being hospitalized and who is dying. It is the unvaccinated. And the difference, though, between last year and now, Florida, where I'm at, we lead the nation in pediatric COVID cases. So before, kids were relatively chill. It just wasn't really hitting them like that. Now, Delta, no, she coming for the kids too. And that's why, like, school's about to start in both in Florida and Texas within the next week or so. I am very scared for what's about to happen. Because, like, in our county, we already had a situation where 3 teachers, and I want to say it was a teacher's aide or a janitor, all just died consecutively within like 36 hours from COVID. So you have that. I'm reading story after story of little children dying, like 11, 12 years old. Like, it's real in these streets. So I really, truly, if I can say something to encourage, like, I'm trying not to be callous about it, because I do want people to get the help they need, but you also do have to consider the strain that you're putting on these health systems. They cannot withstand this. Like, it is going to be a thing. Like, because I saw something where, like, somebody was like kind of feeling like their doctor didn't have good bedside manner, because they were like, well, shit, you know, because they got a vaccine. You know, and it's like,
where's the bedside manner gone?
And I'm like, I want them to have bedside manner, but at the same time, these people are fucking tired, and they're like, you're choosing. Absolutely. And for the life of me, I do not understand the logic that says, I do not trust the medical field to give me a vaccine that will prevent me from getting sick, but I trust them once I've gotten sick to go there and cure me or treat me. So you don't trust them to keep your ass out. But when you get sick, you trust them to treat you?
Yeah, that is bizarre.
Your math ain't mathin'. Your math ain't mathin'.
Yeah. I mean, we had a case out here where a guy obviously didn't get vaccinated. I don't know if he was here. I think he was in Queensland or something like that. I'm in Victoria, so Queensland is further north. He didn't get vaccinated. Ended up catching COVID. Ended up going to the hospital. He also didn't check in. So we have I mean, I'm sure it's the same in the States. QR codes are on everything, so you have to check in so that we can track where everyone's. Oh, oh, okay. Okay, well, we have QR codes where we have to check in everywhere we go. He refused to wear a mask, didn't get vaccinated, refused to use any QR codes when he checked in, caught COVID, went to the hospital to get treated or and whatever, and still refused to cooperate. Still didn't tell him where he went, where he gone. Like, doesn't believe in COVID, doesn't think it's a thing, and I'm just like, I don't know if we're gonna make it. Universe, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Because see, and that's the piece of the public health that we're missing here, is what folks don't understand is how this is supposed to work. Is like you guys are doing. You're supposed to have contact tracing.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to have, the ability to isolate outbreaks so that you can localize it.
Yep.
And then the vaccine is supposed to be the last layer of defense after all of that other shit is in place. America just decided to say, yeah, nigga, fuck that. We're not contact tracing. People barely want to wear masks. People have, decided that it's their constitutional right.
Yeah, I've seen that.
They've like politicized it so it's like, I don't know. I don't know.
I saw that meme the other day. I think I posted it on my Instagram stories. That was like, people are getting upset with businesses that have masks only, on the walls or whatever. I wonder how they would feel, when it used to be whites only, or when it used to be, that sort of thing, which I thought was pretty funny.
It is, but it also is in dangerous territory because we have been seeing like a lot of conservatives, like you've seen that iconic photo of the black man drinking water from the water fountain that says on whites only. Yeah, they've like gone in and digitally altered that and said vaccinated only, and it's like, yeah, geez, this is not the same thing. These people were segregated because of something that they couldn't choose. You are choosing
not to
not to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know. I don't know where.
But I think it's more the looking at it, them making that choice and realizing how fucked up it actually is. Do you know what I mean? But obviously they're gonna miss the point. Like, obviously it's gonna go over the head.
Yeah,
but,
and it's just this thing where people just are not like considerate of each other. Like help out your fellow man. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I don't know where I am with it in terms of saying that they're necessarily like fuck everybody else. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's sort of their play, but it certainly seems and feels that way when you're on the other side of it. You know what I mean?
well, I do think that there are two separate buckets of folks. I do. I mean,
what are those buckets?
I'm finna say this. Like, inartfully said, for the Republican white people, no, they are absolutely inconsiderate. They just don't give a shit about anybody else. These are the people who, in the middle of the pandemic, were out protesting to get haircuts. Like, remember when they were storming state houses? I need to get a haircut. I need to get my nails done. And it's like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like, so they lost cause. They just do not give a shit about anybody else. The other bucket of folks, I'm not going to go so far as to say that they are. I do think that there is a level of inconsiderateness because for some of them, the heels are so dug in that they're just refusing to acknowledge information, and it's so. The way the internet works, it's so easy to lean into confirmation bias that the heels are dug in. But it is a lot of misinformation that's being thrown at them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of misinformation that is being thrown at them, and it's deeply rooted. And the thing is, if you can get somebody who's not so deeply rooted, if you can ask them some questions, it's very obvious. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And what I need people to understand is, people say, "Well, I did my research." Going on YouTube is not doing your research.
No, no.
Reading an article is not doing research.
No.
Like, just to give y'all a taste of what research would involve. And I'm not even talking about like direct research. I'm talking indirect. Indirect research would be seeking out scientific journals that are peer reviewed, checking out who is funding those journals, checking out the standing of each member, each peer that's reviewing it, checking out the standing of the person who conducted the research, checking out the methodology for the research, then checking out whatever sources are cited and going to check those sources to make sure that they're funded in an ethical manner, seeing what those methodologies were. Like, it's going down a rabbit hole.
True definition of a rabbit hole.
Yes.
It is the rabbit hole of rabbit hole.
Like it's much more than just I saw a nigga on there. And then, you know, you have to keep certain things in mind, right? Like common sense has to come into play, right?
Absolutely.
Like, I know I'm no science expert. Okay, my degree is in fucking English. Hello? That's where my shit. But I do know enough to know that if there is somebody who has information to buck the science of the CDC, the NIH, the Board of Health, all of these institutions of experts, their evidence is going to be presented in some sort of peer-reviewed journal or in some sort of form that deals with that. No, I'm not going to see them in a random ass school board meeting in upstate New York.
Yeah.
Just because you found somebody in some school board, a video of somebody in the school board saying some shit that sounds good to you because they used a little bit of scientific jargon.
And they said it with their chest.
Because
I think that's the biggest thing, right?
Oh yeah, like this, there's been a video that's been going around where somebody was like, "I'm going to tell you why the science here is wrong. They're wrong." And then when they're giving examples, they're talking about influenza, they're talking about measles, they're talking about the mumps. All of these are very different fucking viruses.
Yeah. Yeah.
This coronavirus does not move like those. It is a novel virus. It's the first time that we've seen this virus, which is why the thing about the sucky part about how we've seen the information on COVID is we're seeing science in real time, and we normally see it after it's established.
Yeah.
Like initially, when people discover shit, that shit changes all the time because you're learning new shit about it. And this is affecting the world. So we're seeing the changes occur, which is why you get, you don't really need masks. Wait a minute, bitch, you need masks. Maybe
fair enough.
Maybe 6 feet. Maybe, it's gonna change because we're literally learning about this as we go along.
Yeah.
Understanding
definitely.
that, then the science is going to change as we discover more. That's just the nature of the beast. We're just used to learning. This is one of the first times that we've had a new outbreak of something completely new versus something that we had experience with, so that we have a more solid understanding of how it works, what transmission looks like, all of that type of stuff. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, you've just got to use common sense to be like, if this person can buck all of these institutions, a school board meeting is not where they're going to pop up.
No.
Like,
or a YouTube clip.
You know what I'm saying? Or a YouTube clip. They're going to pop up in journals. They're going to pop up on news. Not like these are the places where that's the common sense. But this is where people getting their heels dug in. You hear somebody saying the shit that you want to hear, and that's all you need to do. Hear. And it's like, tell me when to go. Tell me when to go. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's we're seeing a lot of sort of self-centeredness, I think, around this um whole situation with people, I mean, because it's even happening out here where people are like refusing the vaccine or, refusing to wear masks or, whatever the issue is. It's like, okay, you're only seeing this from your narrow view. You know what I mean? And for those people, I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit sorry for them.
I do too, because it's like you clearly don't see any connection to your fellow man.
No, yeah, exactly. And it's an interesting spot to be in considering, where like there's a lot of Aquarian energy happening at the moment. And Aquarian is all about humanitarianism and like, the we, I like to look at it as like the first line is the we and the second wavy line is the I. And so how you balance that, right? Like how you
Mhm.
balance those two. And yeah, it's I don't know, it's a very interesting sort of space to be in, looking at it from like that perspective, like, oh, okay, there's a lot of like ego energy, there's a lot of like self-centeredness, and I think we've got like Mars, which is Aries energy, and all that ego energy is in Virgo at the moment, and Virgo is like our reality. And so I think it's like, you know what I mean? Like it's
Mhm.
really like, oh, okay, now I can see like what is actually happening out here, and it's not pretty,
Yeah. So
especially with where we need to be going, right?
exactly. So we have all of
Oh,
these things that are ringing there. The other thing that I wanted to kind of bring up, just that's happening in the world, is Haiti going through it right now, like going through it right
mm.
now. There was a 7.2 um, earthquake that happened
So I missed all of this. So when did this happen?
this morning.
This morning. Oh, okay. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
7.2. Okay. Sorry, go
yeah.
ahead.
So 7.2, and even the aftershocks have been like 5.5 points. So like it's so
Yeah.
there's of course a high chance of tsunami.
Yeah.
We know that Haiti notoriously has really poor infrastructure. So if there is a tsunami or anything of that nature, and
Yeah.
then keep in mind that roughly like a month or so ago, the president of Haiti was assassinated.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. That's a lot.
well, I mean, and the flip side, like,
Was he a bad president or was he good? Like
well,
what's the
it's
take
a
here?
very much a got to hear both sides because he had kind of declared himself to be like president forever,
Oh,
and
okay.
somebody said, "Nope,
No, thank you, sir.
your time is up." Yeah, no, it was a whole thing where like they went into the neighborhood. There were people who dressed up in fake like DEA stuff to kind of make it seem like they were DEA. Nobody believes it was actually the DEA. Even the Haitian government doesn't believe it was DEA. They just were
Oh,
doing that
okay.
distraction. But yeah, went in and murdered the president. So there's still politically reeling just from
Yeah.
the stability of that because there's like the person who got the acting role, and then I want to say there's like a person in the Supreme Court who's kind of running a shadow government. It's a lot of shit happening in Haiti right now,
Wow.
and then to have on top of that a new earthquake when they're still reeling from the one that happened in 2010.
Yeah, right. And that was 10, 11 years ago now?
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot. So if light your candles, say a prayer, do whatever you can. Obviously, if you can donate money, or things of that nature, find reputable organizations to donate money to, in order to help the people, because we know that it's gonna be a long road to get them.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
What's Wyclef doing?
I mean, I'm sure that he's probably gonna have some sort of deal there,
Fundraiser or
but
something?
fundraise or something. But yeah, it's Haiti. Haiti is going the fuck through right now. They are going through.
Wow, that
And on
is.
top of that, we don't know what the water is going to look like because we're, because I'm in this region, so we got a tropical storm that's building.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in the pathway of that tropical storm. Hopefully, I don't think it's gonna. As far as I saw, we're not expecting it to build up to a hurricane, but just when you combine the possibility of tsunami from that earthquake along with the swell of a tropical storm,
It's devastation. That's
yeah,
devastation on
yeah,
like so many levels.
yeah,
Yeah. Holy shit.
yeah.
I don't even know. I think yeah, we might have to pick this story back up for the next episode as well, just to really dig into it. So I'll do some more research because I've been kind of unplugged a little bit. So I hadn't heard about the tsunami, or sorry, the earthquake, and I definitely hadn't heard about the president being assassinated. So
Yeah.
yeah. Ooh.
So that is what's happening in the world right now. Honestly, I didn't. I've been unplugged from like pop culture shit because I haven't really seen anything.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm just
The only thing I think I know about is which I think we plays along with the whole climate change situation and how we're at critical level with that, right? Like we really need to make some changes, get serious about renewables and all of that. But we have these multi-millionaires, billionaires, whatever, flying up
hmm
to space for what, 10 minutes at a time?
hmm
And how
not
it's like
to
how
like the
much
edge of space. Yeah,
to the
it's
edge of space for like 10 minutes. But how much is that? How much in resources is that you know what I mean? Like it's just like could you be using that money for something else? Make a fucking wind turbine. Desalinate some of this
well,
fucking ocean water.
and the shit part is like they've tried to make the argument like, well, think about all of the technology that we've gotten from space exploration and things of that nature. The difference there is when we've gotten technologies and things out of space exploration, that was being done by our government, funded by our government.
Yes. Yeah.
So the whatever technological advancements or discoveries and things that were made were for all of us.
Yeah.
This
Now
is
it's
for
just
you
for
as
the
a
elite.
private, yeah. This is for you as a private company, which means
Mm-hmm.
whatever you discover or whatever advancements you come up with, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to do at a profit to enrich yourselves.
And your friends. Yeah. The other thing that I saw recently was NASA is taking applications for people to go into simulated like Mars
Mm-hmm.
trips. So basically, they're gonna like 3D print the area or the facility or whatever, and yeah, people are gonna like volunteer to live as if they're gonna be living on Mars. And I'm like, oh, so we're really preparing for this. like we're really preparing to not all of us clearly, but the elite of us are preparing to jump ship instead of say, or at least trying to save what's happening here, which is like, oh, I don't know. It's all wild to me,
It
all of
is very
this.
wild. Like y'all niggas want to terraform places.
Mm,
That was just like,
sorry about
it's all good. It's all good.
that.
Listen,
you
she
know,
got some, she got
I've
something
got
to say.
I got Pluto, I got Scorpio in the fourth house with Pluto, Saturn, and Mars, and my part of fortune. My home life is wild. like there's always some shit happening in here. So we're trying to zen it out. We're trying to calm everybody down. But it's a process. It's a
Yeah,
process.
and hey, there it is.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, that's all I had for news topics. I
Mm.
guess we can go ahead. Did you have anything else that you wanted to do, relay before we move into closing thoughts?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, no.
Okay. Well, closing thoughts on my end. Last week, I kind of recommended some stuff for you guys. I'm going to reiterate the fact that I think that Gavin Turek's album is fucking dope. You should
Mm.
really listen to that. It is currently saving my life right now. like
Hero. Hero. What's it?
The name of the album is Madam Gold, but the song Hero specifically is
Yes.
what I
Giving you life.
what I need. Lion Babe dropped their album Rainbow Child. That's pretty dope as well. Tinashe's 333 is out and it's pretty dope. Nas's King's Disease is out and it's pretty fucking dope. We got a new Lauryn Hill verse. She out here spitting, doing her thing. Um, and just Nas in general. I think I like him with Hit Boy. I think they just have a really solid partnership musically. Like they do good work together. Aside from that, Cardi B and Lizzo has a new song called Rumors. I fucking love the video. I was saying the other day, like I just really, really, it sucks that we don't live in a time with making the video. Like they, like we.
Yeah. Well, she did a little Cardi B did a little bit of a behind the scenes clips for it on Instagram. It's not the same. I know, but,
that's what I'm saying. Like we get a little bit of BTS, but it's just like that video or Lil Nas X's Industry Baby video. Like those are the type of like event type videos that it's like, man, this is what making the video used to be made for. Like this is the prime example of why you would have had that type of show. But we get what we get now. And I'm happy that there are still artists that not only think in terms of there being a audio component, but a visual component as well. So, yeah, Ben, I and by the by, it's not as big, but Gavin Turk, her visuals are dope as fuck too. Especially considering that she's not with a major label, so to accomplish what she does visually with fraction of the budget that was our Lil Nas X has is an accomplishment in and of itself. Beyond that, India Shawn, girl, drop the album, like seriously. But she did the single, "Don't Play with My Heart," just insanely dope. And Victoria Monet has a single called "Coastin" that's insanely fucking dope. So that's out there in the world of music that I would tell y'all to go listen to. Let that get in you. Aside from that, I hope that people can start being more discerning with where you get your information from and more considerate of how your actions impact others. Because in as much as you can say your decision to get vaccinated or not is a personal choice, the reality is it's not a personal choice. It impacts your entire community and it impacts every person around you. It impacts your mothers, your daughters. It impacts the entire fucking world. And again, if you're somebody that's in America, where not only do you have access to the vaccine, but it's fucking free. It is free. You know what's not free? The hospital stay whenever your ass get COVID, if you happen to survive. And if you happen to survive, keep in mind that death ain't the only thing that can happen. Lose 2 to 3% of your lung capacity and see how you fucking move. It don't sound like a lot, but it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, you'll definitely feel that.
They're talking people. There are people who have had brain fogs. There are people who spent 6 months without smell or taste. Like there's all kinds of ways that this virus affects people in the long term that we do not know yet because this is a new virus. Please wear a mask if you can get vaccinated. Listen, don't listen to me because I'm not a fucking doctor. But go to your doctor. Go to your doctor. Talk to them about this shit, not some random nigga you seeing on YouTube. Talk to a medical professional who has been trained on this. Oh, hello.
You say hi? No. What happened? You hurt your face?
I got a mosquito bite on here.
You got a mosquito bite? Oh, okay.
Right here.
We ain't do somebody's hair today.
Well, listen. It's all good. It's all good. But that's pretty much it, man. That's all I on mine. So what are your closing thoughts?
Yeah, I guess my closing thoughts echo yours as well. And then I'll just let everyone know that the moon is in Scorpio now. So be graceful. Have some grace with yourself. Can you stop, please, before I send you out of the room? Um, um, it's likely to be fairly intense emotionally for a lot of people. It pulls us, I think, further into the underworld. So for in terms of like the veil between the conscious and the subconscious is kind of lifted a bit. And I know for me personally, like I don't typically remember dreams when because everyone tells you, oh, you have dreams every night. It's like, no, I don't. It's like, no, you do. You just don't remember them. Well, them shit's been coming hard and fast for a while now. So, um, so yeah, so that's going to be happening. And you might experience some paranormal activity. It could be any number of things that might come up. But I think Scorpio is also very good at like, I don't know if you know a Scorpio, like if you have a Scorpio in your life, you probably struggle lying to them because they're very good at sort of picking apart and uncovering the truth of things. And so that's what that Scorpio energy is about. So I think for a lot of people, what you might see happening with Moon and Scorpio is sort of the truth coming to light in a lot of situations, specifically relationships and family dynamics and things like that. And then because Pluto rules Scorpio, there's also an element of transformation. So all of these things will likely end up changing. And with Pluto being at 24 degrees right now, or is it 25? When Pluto goes to 24 degrees, I think it'll that transformation will happen because you'll have to end a lot of things and kind of commit and come to an understanding that things are ending. And so you'll want to make sure that you commit to that and then you recommit to a new way of kind of thinking and doing and going about your business and setting up your personal boundaries with things, because Scorpio is also about boundaries as well. But to leave it on a good note, Venus is going to move into Libra pretty soon. So that's Venus's home sign. She loves it there. And I think we'll see a lot of more beauty, a lot more creativity. So make sure that you're really focusing on those things in your life to help bring that out a bit more, especially with Moon and Scorpio. You probably need to balance it just a little bit.
Okay.
Don't want to be in the underworld all the time. You know what I mean? Like do some art. Go to a museum or something if you can. Wear a mask. But,
please. Please.
But that's about it. I won't go too much further because I mean, especially the outer planets, they don't really shift that much. Like I think Uranus is at like 22 degrees for the whole month or some shit like that, or 14 degrees. I think Uranus is at 22 is Neptune. But yeah, so that's about it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
That about does it for us.
Absolutely.
And I just want y'all to know that I am rooting for you. I am hoping and wishing and praying and loving on you from a distance. But yeah, be well, y'all. Be well. Oh,
adios.
Okay. Well.